fans, this is Andy C from Piece of 8-Bit. Welcome to this week's video. We're already at the 9th of January, is that right? Yes, the 9th of January, crikey, it's already been a week. And loads of people have already done their retrospectives for 2025. Generally speaking, you should do those in December, but I just haven't had time. So I wanted just to have a bit of a look back at 2025, do a bit of a retrospective on what's been happening kind of around the gaming industry, specifically in the retro scene, but also around the channel as well, and just kind of look back at some of my personal highlights from 2025. But I also want to have a look ahead to 2026 as well, and look at some of the exciting things that I think are going to be coming up this year, maybe some of the places I'm going to be visiting and some of the things that are coming out that I'm excited for, games and tech as well. So without any further ado, let's dive straight into my highlights section of 2025, where I'm just going to talk through what I think have been some of the real top moments from the last 12 months. I'll see you there. Well, what a busy 12 months it has been for me, but also for the industry as well. There's been a lot of things going on around the retro scene and in the gaming industry in general, so we're going to be talking about that. I don't think it's been a vintage year in terms of new games on the sort of latest generation of consoles. I think it's been another kind of, we've seen a few cool things. I mean, there have been some things which I'll touch on in a moment. But in terms of games, there's not been a huge list of things that I'm super excited about or was excited for. But there have been a few things as well. But there have been some exciting things in the world of tech as well. In terms of my own personal highlights, well, I've had a lot of pickups this year. Only when I look back, I've got my notes here because I try and remember all the stuff that I picked up. But only when I actually kind of look back through my videos did I realise just how much stuff I've actually picked up this year, for better or worse. So some of the things, I've got some of the things out here. So I mean, I had a Game Boy Pocket for quite a while, but I've also picked myself up an original Game Boy and a Game Boy Color as well. And I also picked up in the world of Nintendo a DS XL, a really nice one from a retro shop down in Cornwall. I also picked up this as well, which is the Sega Master System Mark 1. Now, I've had a Sega Master System Mark 2 for a little while, but I really wanted a Mark 1, and I found this at a fair, I think it was. I can't remember which one. It might have been Oxford. Don't quote me on that. And picked up this. And I wanted one of these before. Oh, did I do it? No, I don't think I did, actually. When I did my Master System month with, I don't think I'd actually got one of these at that point. So I think I actually did it on the Master System 2, which might mean that maybe I need to do another month with. It's a good excuse to do that, isn't it? Picked up a couple of these as well. I love these. These are Super Pockets, Hyper Mega Tech Super Pockets. If you're familiar with the Evercade, it's basically a sister company to Evercade, and these in fact take Evercade cartridges. Now, the Capcom one I managed to find, I think I found it at CEX actually, for quite a reasonable price, and obviously that comes with Street Fighter 2 and 1942 is the kind of two headline titles on there, certainly, but there's a lot of good games on that. And then I also picked up the Neo Geo one, which came out last year. And I think for me, this is probably going to scratch the Neo Geo itch. I'd love for a Neo Geo to be in my collection, whether that's a Neo Geo Pocket or a Neo Geo AES or X. But the trouble with it is they're really expensive, and they are also the games also are really, really expensive as well. So there's a good chance they won't come into my collection anytime soon, and therefore this kind of scratches the itch for Neo Geo, which was not something I really played a lot on back in the day anyway. So it's not, you know what they say, you don't miss what you never have kind of thing. So yeah, picked up Game Boy Advance as well. This I picked up at the Play Expo. I have a GBA SP behind me at the back here, but I wanted an original GBA, and I found this. I wasn't really looking for one actually, but I found this at a show. This was the Play Expo up in Blackpool, and it's in absolutely immaculate condition, and it's boxed and everything else, and I just had to have it, so I had that as well. But I think for me probably, I mean, in terms of other things that I picked up, let's just have a look at my list here. We obviously picked up the original Xbox. How was that this year? No, actually, no, that wasn't this year. That might have been last year, actually. I say last year before last, so 2024, in fact. But I did pick up the Intellivision Sprint, which you may know if for my month with series, I'm looking at the Intellivision. So I'm looking at the Sprint, which is the reimagined one. It's a bit like the 2600 Plus, the Atari 2600 Plus. They did the Intellivision Sprint, same company. It's actually Atari that did it. So I've just received that. So opened that just before Christmas. In fact, if you look just on Wednesday, you can see my box opening of that. But I also bought an original in television as well, and there's a video back, I think in March time, when I did a bit of a pickups video, and I talked about ordering that online, found it online, immaculate in television. So that's going to be sitting in here while I review it, and the Intellivision Sprint will be in the living room while I'll be reviewing that as well. So looking forward to getting really stuck in with that. Already started playing a few things. So yeah, just need to get some time in front of the TV to actually go with some of it. And of course the big pickup of the year has to be the Nintendo Switch 2. So obviously the Nintendo Switch 2 came out in 2025, and it's been a fairly big hit, and I think it's been a little bit Marmite. I think some people have loved it and some people have been a bit underwhelmed, but I really like it. Unfortunately, like a lot of Nintendo tech that I buy, I'm all impressed with it, and then it goes under the TV and I switch the PS5 on. But it is really good. I've enjoyed playing Donkey Kong on there, Bonanza, which is really, really good, and I've enjoyed playing the Mario Kart World game as well, but I don't have a lot of games for it. A lot of the reason why Nintendos tend to gather a little bit of dust in this house is because the games are so pricey. Yeah, it has been good nonetheless. It is a really impressive piece of kit, and they have improved pretty much every aspect of the original Nintendo Switch as well. So that's been really fun. So that's all the kind of tech for this year. In terms of some of the events that I've been to, it's been fantastic, and I've visited some fantastic places. Obviously been to Retroids over in Worcester, which is one of my favourite arcade venues. It's just around the corner for me, and I've really enjoyed going there and getting stuck in. And I went to a Father's Day event, actually filmed that back in June. That was great. But I think two really big highlights for me was popping down to London to the Science Museum and going to the Play On, I think it was called. Power Up at the Science Museum. Just looking down at my notes here, apologies for that. That was really, really good. And I also really, really enjoyed the Play Expo up in Blackpool. We made a weekend of it, went to the Pleasure Beach on the Sunday. But on the Saturday, got to meet some fantastic people. Saw Jason Bradbury from the Gadget Show, which was fantastic. He was lovely, and met John Romero, of course, from Doom fame, one of the creators of Doom. Absolutely fantastic. What a real treat that was as well. But they had a fantastic market up there, loads of games to play, lots of events going on. Absolutely brilliant event, and I'm definitely looking forward to going back up to that again towards the end of this year. So if you're into your retro gaming, I could definitely recommend Play Expo. It is really, really good. And also popped to one of my favourite gaming markets, which is the Oxford one, which is just up the road for me. That is a really good one. It was the second time going to that, and it's one of my more preferred gaming markets. It's a bit more open, a bit more spread out. There's a lot of good retailers up there. So I always inevitably end up bringing back quite a bit of stuff. In fact, that's where I picked up the Game Boy Color. And a few other bits and pieces as well while I was up there. So that was really, really good. So we'll probably end up doing another road trip up there again in April, and it will broadly be the same as last year's one. But you know, for those of you who are interested, I'll do something for that as well. So that's been great. And yeah, finally, I suppose the other kind of highlights for me is some of the month widths that I've been doing, and it's been a fantastic year of months widths. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I pick a console each month or some tech, and I live with it for a month, and I sort of try and exclusively play that, although I'm still playing on the PS5 and the Xbox and things like that. But I do spend as much time as I possibly can with that device, and I come back at the end of the month and let you know what it's been like. And there's been loads this year. I mean, well, 12 to be precise. But just to give you a reminder of some of the things that I've looked at. So last month was the Xbox 360, which was fantastic. Really enjoyed that. Go check that video out. That was a real awakening for me, learning just how good the Xbox 360 was. Back earlier in the year, I actually did the Xbox, the original Xbox as well. And again, that was really good. And I'd had a bit of a play with that before, and I'd reported back on it. But this was sort of one of the official month with moments with that, and I really, really enjoyed both Xbox 360 and the original Xbox as well. Absolutely fantastic. Alongside the Xbox, of course, we had the PS2, which celebrated 25 years last year, and that is my favourite console. You know, I make no bones about it, as those of you who know me will know. But I absolutely loved getting back into PS2. Picked myself up a PS2 Slim last year, just to put under the TV to have it plugs in permanently, because I just really enjoy playing PS2 games, and I can always come back and play them. So that was fantastic. Over in the world of Nintendo, we did the GameCube, which was another favourite from that era as well. Really enjoyed that. A couple of handholds. We did the PSP towards the sort of latter part of the year. So that was in August, and I took that on holiday with me. Really enjoyed getting back into the PSP. Loved that, especially getting back into the old GTA games that were on there, Vice City and Liberty City Stories. That was great too. So loads of really good things there. Sega, we had a look at the Mega Drive and the Master System, both obviously fantastic consoles. We looked at Windows 95, which was a bit of a departure from consoles. That was really interesting going back with that. I think the overall conclusion was probably not worth the effort. Yeah, and did I mention the Game Gear? I said portables, talked about PSP, did Game Gear as well, which I did earlier on in the year. Also took that on holiday with me in April. That was really interesting as well. Really like getting back into that. But again, Game Gear, one of those things where probably not worth looking at now. The games are great, some of the games are fantastic on it, but actually as a device, probably not necessarily worth picking up in this day and age. PSP, on the other hand, definitely worth picking up. And then a couple of reimagined consoles. So we had, well, a couple of consoles actually. One was a console and one was an old computer. So we had the 2600 Plus, which we looked at, which is the reinvention of the Atari 2600, the legendary console. And it actually takes the original cartridges as well, so I was able to pick some of those up and have a good play with that. That was great fun to get back to. Although probably that era, maybe I'll find this within television as well, is that era sometimes better left in the past. There are some games on there that are good, other games which are just have not dated all that well. We also looked at ET, of course, which and we explored whether we think it is genuinely worthy of its worst game of all time moniker that it has. But yeah, go check that video out if you're interested in that as well. And we also looked at this, and this was a real highlight for me, and it appears to have been a highlight for the channel. Loads of people really enjoyed this video. It's one of my highest viewed videos, and this is the Spectrum, which is a reimagined version of the ZX Spectrum from the 1980s, from the early 80s. And we lived with this for a month, and I really enjoyed this, and I love the attention to detail with this computer. It is absolutely fantastic. The rubber keyboard just feels like it just takes you straight back. If you were into the Spectrum back in the day, the rubber keyboard that comes with this reimagined device will take you right back to that early 80s period. It's just fantastic. There's some great games on it, and you can put other games on it as well. So we had a really good look at this, and people really enjoyed the video. And people commented on my load screen that I did for it. I did sort of it took me ages actually to do. I didn't use AI to do it. I actually did it by hand in GIMP on the Mac to get some of the graphics and found some videos of games loading. So yeah, it was that was fun. It was quite fun to do. I couldn't tell you how I did it now because I can't remember, but yeah, so that was great as well. So there you go. So from that point of view, loads of things that have been happening in the channel, and those are some of my highlights. Obviously, that was quite a long section. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a little bit around what is going to be going on next year, and some of the releases in the next section. So I'll pop into that right now, and I'll see you in there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed some of those highlights. Do let me know your own highlights, or some of your lowlights actually. You know, if you weren't too impressed with the Nintendo Switch or anything like that, just let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. But yeah, I mean, obviously those highlights very much kind of subjective. They're kind of my highlights from last year, but hopefully there's some things in there that you enjoyed as well. Not least, you know, the Spectrum. That was a big highlight for a lot of people. Whether it's perhaps some of the, you know, some of the Super Pocket, especially the Neo Geo one. Hopefully you enjoyed some of those things as well. Obviously a lot of other tech isn't necessarily new, but do let me know some of your thoughts and some of the games that you've played last year as well that you've really enjoyed. I haven't really gone through many of the games that I played last year. I've been playing a lot of obviously games that are related to the Month With series that I've been doing there as well. So yeah, right. What we're gonna do now is just dive into what's coming up over the next 12 months, both on the channel and in the industry. First of all, let's talk about just stuff on the channel, things that I want to have a look at next year. So obviously we've got the Intellivision going on at the moment, the Intellivision Sprint, which is brand new. I'm going to be getting to grips with that and reporting back on how that has been. We've got the A1200 coming out in March, which is a full-size Amiga A1200 machine by the same people that bought you the Spectrum. That's Retro Games Limited, and they always do a fantastic job. They bought we had the A500 Mini from them as well, and the Commodore 64. So that should be really, really good. I'm very excited for that to come out in June. I've also got the Steam machine coming out at some point. Whether I get one of those or not, I don't know. That's largely down to cash flow, because I don't know how much they're going to be yet. But that's quite interesting. I quite like the idea of having some of the games that are available on Steam available on my TV in the living room. I've got the ROG Ally X, so I don't really need the handheld Steam devices, but the Steam machine is particularly interesting to me. So looking forward to that as well. And then in terms of some of the other consoles I want to have a look at, so the PS3 will be 20 years old next year, this time, well, November time, the end of this year. So we'll probably have another look at that. We've got the Saturn and the Dreamcast I still want to look at. We've got the Nintendo Wii, which is also 20 years old this year. Can you believe it? Can you believe the Nintendo Wii is 20 years old? And we have the, well, I have a newly purchased Atari Lynx, which at some point I want to have a look at as well. So I've just picked one of those up in a recent pickup from RetroSec. Shout out to RetroSec there. So lots of things for me to be looking at in the channel this year, and some of the things that will be on this list are games and things that are out over the next few months. Yeah, that's going to be on my list as well for me to have a look at. So let's have a dive through the next 12 months. So apologies, I'm going to keep looking down at my notes and try and remind myself of what is going on. Oh yes, we've also got, let me see, we've also got some events that I want to go to as well, so I'll talk about those as we get to those as well. So let's start off with January. So we've got some big games coming out next year. We'll come to those, and there's one obvious one. Yeah, there's some, as we go through each of the months, we'll talk about those. So in January, we've got Final Fantasy VII, which comes out on the remastered version of that, which comes out on the Xbox and the Switch too. So that's going to be really interesting. I think I quite like the idea of playing Final Fantasy VII. Never been really massively into Final Fantasy, but I like the idea of having a look at that on the Switch too. I think that's going to be quite a nice place to have a look at a remastered version of that. I'm hoping that we'll get an announcement in January about when exactly the Steam machine is out. Apologies if I've been living under a rock and I've missed that, and you can all shout at me in the comments and tell me there's been a date, but I haven't seen one myself. So maybe we'll get a date in January. Maybe it'll come out in January. I don't know. But hoping to see that early next year, in the first quarter at least anyway. In February, we've got Resident Evil 9 coming out. And then we've got another game called, which is quite interesting to me, which is I think it's called Reanimal, which is a 2-player co-op horror, which comes out, which looks quite interesting. I think I might check that one out. And we also have, for those of you Mario fans out there, we also have Mario Tennis Fever, which looks quite interesting as well. Obviously, that'll be on the Switch too. So that's February. In March, well, there's only one name I've written down here in March. Now, this isn't for me, but I know plenty of people are going to be super excited about this, which is Pokemon Pokopia, which I understand is going to be a bit like Animal Crossing. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people really, really hyped for that. Come April, I am probably going to be looking to go to the Oxford Gaming Market again. At some point, probably in these first few months as well, I want to nip down to, and I've just got to remember the name of it, Retro Collective, which is down in Stroud, which is a sort of retro, kind of a museum, interactive museum, if you like, for retro gaming. My wife bought me some tickets for that last year, so I need to get that booked in. And so I'm going to hopefully try and get a road trip in January, February time to get down there. It's probably more likely to be February now. January's already looking pretty booked up. So that's going to be really interesting as well to get down to that. So then we start to get into the spring. I'm looking forward to that. There's and I've written this down here, what is this? Prognata, a new Capcom sci-fi game. which comes out, and Saros from the makers of Return. All those games are quite interesting. Other than that, not a huge amount in April, other than me going to the market and probably picking up more things than I don't need. Then come to May, we've then got Mortal Kombat 2. The movie comes out. So I'm going to be interested about this, as there's another game to movie rival, essentially, that's coming out later in the year, which I'll come to. But yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. It looks quite exciting. So I don't know much about it at the moment, but I think there's probably going to be a lot of hype for Mortal Kombat 2. I think in this day and age as well, in the age of CGI and all those kind of things, I think they might be able to have a bit of a better stab at it than the last time, but we will see. We've got a new Bond game coming out. Bond. I've written my notes. I can't even read my own writing. 007 First Light, I think it's called. And then there's a new Lego Batman as well. Legacy of the Dark Knight, which comes out also in May. Which I'm actually quite looking forward to that. I think I might have to pick that up. So I should be looking at that. That might be something that gets picked up on the Switch too as well. Then it's going to be quite quiet through the summer, and I think we've got a couple of events. So we've got the Summer Game Fest in LA that's in June, and then later on in August we've got the Gamescom 2026 in Cologne. Hopefully over here in the UK, I'm hoping to go to something a little bit more low-key. There's been some rumour about another revival event, so I went to one of those a couple of years ago when I first started the channel, which was fantastic. That was in June, and there's some rumour that they're going to be doing something in 2026, and it's a bit like if you've been to Play Expo or those kind of things where you've got some arcade machines and some LAN games and a bit of a market and those kind of things. That's the sort of event that it is, a bit more low-key. It's up in the West Midlands. It was in Wolverhampton last time, so I'm really hoping they come back and do something. That would be great. A lot of the arcade equipment and things, I think that's actually in an arcade up in, I think it's in Walsall, up in Birmingham, and that's actually something I would like to go and visit as well at some point. So I'm hoping to go do that. And then as we move into September, the only thing that is really exciting to me in September is they are making a Halloween game, apparently. And I'm a huge fan of Halloween. I'm not a big horror fan, as it happens, but Halloween is a fantastic movie. The first one specifically, but yeah, there's supposedly going to be a game of that coming up as well. And then in October, so we talked about Mortal Kombat, we also have Street Fighter the movie coming out. So we've got Mortal Kombat 2 in May, and then another Street Fighter movie in October. And again, this looks like it's going to be really good fun. So going to be keeping my eye open for that and looking at the early reviews. Could just be one to go and see. Now, November. November is going to be the month that I am looking forward to. I'm very excited for November, and that is because for those of us out there that are fans of GTA, we are hoping that we will see GTA 6. Now, who knows? We might get to May or June and they might push it back again and it might be 2027, but fingers crossed. We will see GTA 6 in November, and I am super pumped for that. So I haven't actually written anything down for December, but there are a load of other games as well that we're hoping that we're going to see next year. So for me, some of the highlights for me, Forza Horizon 6 is something that is due out next year. So Microsoft have said it's going to be in 2026. They haven't said exactly when. So hoping that might fill a bit of that void in the summer. Maybe we'll see it there. We've got the new Wolverine game coming out at some point through next year, which is going to be an M-rated game, but it's been long anticipated. And if it's anything like as good as some of the Spider-Man games that we've seen before, that's going to be fantastic. There's also Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, which is also due out next year as well, which I'm hoping will be really good. And that's going to star Cap and Black Panther, and that should be fantastic as well. We've got Star Wars Galactic Racer, which is hopefully going to show up in 2026 as well. So if you played the pod racing game on the N64, this is going to basically be that, but on steroids, and quite looking forward to that as well. And maybe a couple of other games that I'm kind of hoping we might see, or at the very least get an announcement for. So one is Light No Fire, which comes from Hello Games, who create No Man's Sky. So this is a game that has been in the works for a long time. It's going to be set on a sort of fantasy fiction Earth, and it's going to be completely open, much like No Man's Sky, but just on one planet. But obviously you won't have spaceships to flying around in. I think you might have dragons. I think that's been rumoured, but the idea is that it'll just be this massively open world, entire planet and I assume procedurally generated like No Man's Sky. I imagine No Man's Sky creators, Hello Games, will want to get it absolutely right before it comes out, based on the sort of criticism that they had for No Man's Sky when that first came out 10 years ago. So I'm hoping that they're just making sure that it's absolutely right before it appears. So we will see, but hoping that we'll see that next year. They've said no sooner than 2026, so I'm suspecting it will probably push back into next year, but we will see. And I'm also hoping that we might see an Elder Scrolls 6, or at the very least an announcement of that. That's been in the works since the dawn of time, it feels like. Well, since Skyrim at least, which was 13 years ago. Well, don't know whether it's been in development all that time, but it's been 13 years since the last major Elder Scrolls game came out. So hopefully we will see that next year. That's been even longer in the works than GTA 6. So that should be super exciting as well. So really looking forward to that. So yeah, I think I'm just looking at all my notes here. Is there anything else I've missed? I think that is it. I think that is all my highlights for next year. So do let me know what some of your highlights are as well. Anything, or your things that you're excited about coming out in 2026. Some of the things that you're super pumped about. Let me know. But those are the things that I'm excited about, and I think GTA 6 is going to be mega. And I know from doing this channel, not everybody is a fan of GTA 6, of course, so some people will be like, yeah, whatever. But I think, whenever Rockstar releases a Grand Theft Auto game, it is a major cultural impact. So I think everybody's really excited for that. They haven't done a bad one yet, so let's hope that they don't start, and that the reason why it's taking so long is because they want it to be perfect. And if GTA 5 is anything to go by, or GTA 4, any of the GTAs before, Rockstar will absolutely knock it out of the park like they always do. The rumours sound very good. Everyone's like, oh, it's overhyped. They said it about GTA 5 and it was amazing. So we will see. I am super pumped for that, but we will see. The jury will be out until that arrives, of course. So there we go. Those are some of my things that I'm looking forward to in 2026. So finally, the last thing that I just wanted to do was just kind of quickly just wrap up, really, and talk about some of the things I've learned over the last 12 months, and then we'll leave it there. So I'll see you in that section for my final thoughts. Yeah, well, I'll see you there. Yeah, so things that I've learned this year. Well, yeah, I mean, I've learned, as I said this time last year, what an amazing community this is. So I just want to send my thanks out there to all my supporters and those people that take the time to watch my videos and comment and that kind of thing, and apologise that I don't always get round to watching everybody else's videos. I really would like to. I just don't have time to do everything. I'd love to watch everybody else's videos as well. So sometimes I feel a bit guilty. People come and comment on my videos and I think, oh crap, I haven't been seeing their videos for a couple of weeks, and I'll take some time out to go do it. But it's yeah, there's just not enough hours in the day. Other things that I've learned, I've had a lot of learning around editing. Hopefully you've noticed a bit of an improvement in how I've edited my videos this year. So I've spent a lot of time trying to polish my videos a bit, and I always go back and have a look sort of 12 months, 2 years back, and have a look to see how I started. And I like to think that my video editing is a little bit better now. I do try and make that a little bit better. I still talk too much on my videos. But yeah, that's what the skip button's for, right? That's why I put chapters in my videos now as well, of course. Yeah, other things. Play Expo up in Blackpool, I've learned that was amazing, and why didn't I go to that before? So if any of you are going up to that, please do let me know. But that was fantastic. I've also learnt that I was way too quick to judge the Xbox 20 years ago, 25 years ago with the original Xbox, and 20 years ago with the Xbox 360. I just wrote that tech off and decided that it was terrible because I was a Sony fanboy, and coming back and having a look at those things again has just been fantastic. So that's been a real awakening, and I'm kind of annoyed with myself really that I waited so long to get into Xbox, you know, that it's a shame because those two, especially the first two generations of Xbox, were just fantastic, and I've really enjoyed getting and having a look at some of those games. So it's been good because I've been playing games for the first time, Gears of War for the first time, Halo 3 for the first time, Forza for the first time. You know, these are all fantastic games that I've just loved playing and getting into, and it's given me a new appreciation for the Xbox Series X as well, the latest one, and how many great games there are on there as well. That's another gaming highlight which I didn't even mention actually, was I played the Indiana Jones game, Golden Circle. Was it Golden Circle? Was that the film? I can't remember. Whatever the Indiana Jones game was that came out on Xbox earlier on in the year. Played that. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. That actually was a gaming highlight. I can't believe I didn't write that down. Played that beginning to end. It's one of the few games that I've actually had taken the time out to fully complete. That and Luigi's Mansion, also fully completed that as well this year, which I really enjoyed going and doing. So yeah, that was fantastic. And then finally, my last thing really was learning, and I've mentioned this a couple of times now, but just how popular this little bad boy was. Absolutely loved this myself. Thought it was fantastic. Loved the attention to detail, as all the things I've already said about it. But just how many people engaged with that content, and how many people had such fantastic memories of this machine and really enjoyed going back and having a play on it. Now, I've looked at some of the machines from that era. I had a look at the BBC, for instance, the BBC B, and people enjoyed it. People liked kind of looking back, but this was a real high point for me, and I think this has been a real high point for the channel as well, going and have a look at this. So thank you to Retro Games for bringing this out. Yeah, I see them around, and people ask me about it every now and again, you know, what's it really like? And I'd say it's absolutely brilliant. If you remember this era, don't go and find an original ZX Spectrum unless you really want to, because the novelty will wear off quickly, and you'll remember, you know, the pain of putting a tape in and it not loading and taking ages. Of course, you can do away with all the bad stuff about the Spectrum, and you can just get into some of the fantastic games. It was an incredibly innovative period of gaming history on this machine, and you can just relive it, and it's much easier to get back into now, and you can appreciate some of that creativity with this machine. And you can pick them up a bit cheaper now than this I think I paid £99 for. I've seen them around a bit cheaper than that. I've seen them around for £79 in sales and things like that as well. So definitely recommend this. That has been probably one of my biggest highlights for the year, both for me and for the channel, and I think for the retro scene in general. I think people have really enjoyed that. So I'm hoping to get a bit of that when we see the A1200 come out in June. I'm going to be waiting. I was super excited about that. I'm excited about these in television, but that doesn't hold the same level of novelty or nostalgia for me as perhaps the Spectrum does. So yes, there you go. That is it. So there you go. Hopefully, I mean, that was a bit of a ramble. I try not to do these too often, but I just really wanted to kind of wrap up the last 12 months and talk about the next 12 with all of you lovely people. So I hope you enjoyed that. Stick with me for more content on the Intellivision, of course. That has been something I'm very excited about getting into. I've also got the Retro Ed Steve Racing Challenge, which I'm just going to pop out of shop for a second while I pick the game up. That is this XS Moto. I couldn't remember what it was called last time I did a video. I'm rapidly running out of time to do this, so I'm always running out of time to do it, so I need to get on and do that. Yeah, that's been another fun bit of highlight this year, is getting involved in these, and the rivalry between myself and my son, getting stuck in with that has been great to do as well. So another one of those coming up as well. And then of course we'll be looking forward to what's coming up in February, and I don't think I've actually decided what I want to do for February. Obviously I've got a good list which I went through earlier of consoles, but I do need to have a think about what I'm going to pick for February, lots to choose from. So there you go, that is it for 2025. Even though there has already been a video in 2025, but that is definitely the last I'm going to talk about 2025 now. And yeah, let's look forward to 2026, and please stay tuned to the channel. If you enjoy these videos, please do hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate all your support. It's been a fantastic year. Here's to the next 12 months. Please do all take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. And until then, bye for now.